It's been almost 2 weeks since new violence erupted in Israel. Now we are seeing other countries getting involved, and there are new reports that a possible ceasefire could happen as soon as tomorrow. Here to talk about the latest in the Middle East is former Connecticut Senator and chair of No Labels, Joe Lieberman. Welcome back to Wake Up America, Senator.
Well, good morning. Good to be back.
Senator, I would love to get your thoughts on this latest conflict, but specifically, how is this different than past flare-ups?
Well, there have been past flare-ups. I think there are three since Hamas took control of Gaza in a coup, throwing out the previously elected leaders in the so-called Fatah movement of the Palestinian Authority. So that's similar. But I'll tell you what I think is really significant here. This is Hamas now fully and aggressively backed by Iran. So you've got Hamas, an anti-American, obviously anti-Israeli terrorist group, backed by a terrorist government in Tehran, also anti-American and obviously anti-Israel, and with the most sophisticated missiles that Hamas has ever had, and firing them at unprecedented numbers, doing real damage within Israel. And Israel naturally has had to respond and punish Hamas and, unfortunately, the people of Gaza who are there and used by Hamas in response to that. So hopefully Hamas has learned a lesson, but Iran is really the criminal here that for their own political reasons, in my opinion, have caused this conflict for which there was no reason at all.
Senator, yesterday, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu spoke about how to handle the Hamas terrorist group. Take a listen.
There are only two ways that you can deal with them. You can either conquer them, and that's always an open possibility, or you can deter them. And we are engaged right now in forceful deterrence, but I have to say, we don't rule out anything.
Senator, what are your thoughts on what he had to say, and why do you think that we're seeing this now? And if they are being backed by Iran, what is the Iranians' strategy in pushing for this type of escalation?
Well, first, I think that what Prime Minister Netanyahu said was absolutely right. I mean, think about it. It was exactly the policy that we followed most memorably after we were attacked on 9/11 by the Al-Qaeda terrorists. We went right to their base. It was at least halfway around the world, as opposed to next door, which is the case of Gaza and Israel. But we went after Al-Qaeda and the Taliban that was protecting them, because these terrorist groups are not in the business of negotiating peace. The Hamas still is born to destroy Israel. So I think Prime Minister Netanyahu set it out realistically. It may not be a pleasing sound for some people to hear, but it's the realism when you're dealing with killers who are terrorists and don't care about human life. Second, what's Iran's game here is really, and unfortunately they may have been somewhat successful here. They have armed, trained, and supported Hamas with the most sophisticated weapons. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some Iranians in Gaza helping Hamas be operating those rockets. What's Iran up to? I think they want to get our attention as the Biden administration tries, I think in vain, to get a good amendment to the nuclear agreement with Iran. And secondly, they're trying to break up the relationship of the Abraham Accords between Israel and some of the Arab countries by enforcing the Arab countries to come to the defense of the Palestinian people. So they've been temporarily successful, I'm afraid. But the punishment that the Israeli Defense Force has put on Hamas hopefully will deter them from doing this again, to use the term that Netanyahu used, just as the Israeli punishment of Hezbollah in a similar circumstance in 2006 has deterred Hezbollah from doing anything like that in the 15 years since then. So Look, we pray for peace. We'd like people to live, no one more than the Israelis and the Palestinian people. But the leaders on the Palestinian side are not interested in peace at this moment, and therefore Israel has to hit them hard.
Well, thank you, Senator Joe Lieberman, for those insights, those powerful insights. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you, sir.
Well, as the world awaits a ceasefire in the Middle East amid growing global pressure to do so, many are not holding their breath. For an update on the crisis, we go to I-24 correspondent Sarah Coates, live just north of the Gaza border. Sarah, what's the latest?
Yeah, hey there, Emma. A really eerie feeling here on the ground. We are in the southern Israeli city of Sderot. This is the biggest city, the closest city to the Gaza border. And let me tell you, since we've been here, there have been so many loud bangs in the sky above, so many rocket sirens going off. Today feels so much different than we felt other days. We're just moving away from our car a little because if something actually hits the car, it will explode. This is, you know, people have been told to stay really close to a rocket shelter today because this city alone has seen more than 900 rockets fired at it from the Gaza Strip since the beginning of this 11-day conflict. Now, I was speaking to a security official, his name's Erez, just a little while ago. He says that he wants to see calm restored and he's just absolutely sick of this situation.
Here in Ashkelon, there was a direct strike a short while ago. Landed and struck a house. Extensive damage took place at the scene. One lady was injured, lightly taken to hospital. The security situation is very serious. Heightened security continuing across all southern cities any second. Sirens can go off and rockets can be fired, and we're seeing the Hamas continuing to attempt to strike Israel in populated areas.
Now, let's bring these pictures up of this home, which was completely destroyed, a brand new home belonging to a lady named Sigal. She was actually inside the home when this rocket struck her house. She just made it in time into this shelter. We are getting some information coming through from my cameraman now that we are expecting a loud boom in the sky, so don't be surprised if I jump a little bit here. But this rocket hit this house with just so much force, the entire home was damaged. And as I mentioned, she just got into the shelter in time. Her son didn't. He was actually hit with a lot of glass and taken to hospital. Her dog was also fine, but she says she's lived here in Sderot, or rather in Ashkelon, for the last 30 years, and she's not going to leave.
Wow.
It was very terrifying. We were in the shelter, heard the boom. I realized it's not far. I didn't realize how close it was. Literally, it hit the house. And the first few seconds when I left the shelter, I didn't realize the damage. And then I did, but it's only the house. I'm safe, my son is safe, the dog is safe. We're okay.
And how are you feeling? What do you want going forward?
What do I want?
Yeah, going forward.
Quiet, peace, and go to our normal life back again.
All right, so Israel's security cabinet is set to meet in just under an hour's time. We are hearing information coming in on Israeli media here that Israel is proposing some sort of a ceasefire deal, talking to the Egyptian delegation on the ground right now. But we will bring you more information on this potential ceasefire and a potential de-escalation in the coming hours.
Okay, we look forward to that really upsetting images that you've shared with us. Sarah Coates joining us live. Sarah, thank you. Hi, Emma Reckenberg here. If you like this video, there's a whole lot more to see on Newsmax TV. You can watch for free right here on our YouTube live stream and be the first one here each time our experts break down real news. Just hit that subscribe button, ring the bell icon, and stay with us on America's fastest growing cable news channel, Newsmax TV.